A really strange thought that I'd like to explore this video is something that kind of messes with your brain a little bit. It's like, what if everything or a significant part of what we all believe today just isn't true? Like, you know how, like, back in the day, something like they thought the sun revolved around the earth, or like that the earth was the center of the universe, sort of thing, or like that to heal illnesses you had to like drain blood, or like whatever sort of thing, and then it's like not like that at all. So my whole thing is like, what if medications that we take for mental health just aren't what's going to help us? Like, I feel like maybe, like, I've heard really random things that are kind of like seemingly outlandish, where it's like this was cured by just changing your diet to avoid like something that your body is rejecting or whatever. Like, I forgot what that was, but it was something like someone had really severe problems and couldn't function, and then it was like they were allergic to something that was like a regular um, mineral or something. I don't know. But like, just imagine if like mental disorders weren't chemical imbalances in the brain, and or if something else behind that was causing it. So, like, treating all these illnesses with medications to just treat the brain and the chemicals in the brain just isn't helping in the long term, and is like just treating the symptoms, say, and not treating the root cause. So, my whole thing is like, with bipolar, it's really, I guess, unknown what the biggest cause is. I know that there's like, it's genetic most of the time, and like um there's usually a trigger that causes the first episode, and then you're just like that for the rest of your life basically, which is really sad to think about, like that someone would have to deal with this for the rest of their life once they have one episode. And I feel like, although I don't spend all my days thinking about bipolar anymore, it's just kind of part of my life. Um, I like, in the back of my mind, I know that if I don't take care of certain things, a manic episode can pop out at any moment. And usually it comes like once a year or a little over a year, but I'm almost reaching that point, and in that scary time, I am also making one of the biggest changes in my life. I am moving to Minnesota for a job. And I know I mentioned that in my last video. I got the job in Minnesota as a mental health practitioner. And I think it's just like a really good experience to have, and like will help me get my foot in the door. Um, it's gonna be really exciting. And the biggest thing, though, I feel like all these changes happening at once. All the changes happening at once will not be good for my mental health necessarily, unless I'm really on top of everything. I'm kind of scared for that, but hopefully everything will be okay. Um, but going back to my original topic, what if everything that we thought we knew about mental illnesses was just not true, or not like precisely the way that we believe it is right now. Because the simplest, like, I guess when people take medications for depression, they can take antidepressants, which is basically just pumping like more serotonin and all that good stuff, like to have happy feelings. And usually after a bit of time passes, you kind of revert to your old ways even though you're still taking the medication. And that's because your body gets used to those neurotransmitters and just kind of, I guess, becomes numb to it, or like the receptors don't, like there are less receptors, or it's just not like keeping. Oh, sorry, I don't know what I'm explaining right now, but I know that like something in like the receptors and the reuptake and something like related to that. I gotta do my research clearly. I learned this a long time ago, but basically something in there is not causing the neurotransmitters that need to like reach where they need to reach, just aren't getting there. So when it comes to all that, like it's very like it's a very basic way to try to treat something like that. And I think there's probably better ways to go about it. I know that like depression isn't as easy as like do this or like change this about your life and things will get better. Like there's probably something else. It's just that all these like medications that people are taking for mental illnesses, I'm not sure if they're doing their job basically. And I know I've talked about this in other videos. It's like your medications aren't working because you gotta take your own like life choices, change them to accommodate what you need, and the medications will only take you so far. So I think that kind of this whole thing goes along with that. Like medications only take you so far because mental illness is more than chemical imbalances. You can't just be like putting different chemicals to help the chemicals in your brain work better. Like there are other things happening that affect it, not just, you know, the purely biological part. So that's just like a whole other thing, I guess. I really want to explore this a little more and like imagine if like 20, 40 years from now everything is completely different when it comes to that. Um that'd be crazy. But I think in general, like the like a lot of people in the world, like a lot of companies, I guess, benefit off of selling medications to us basically. And they're so expensive. If you notice like what it costs without insurance, it's like insane. And I'm like, how is this possible? Like, how much money are they making because I'm suffering here? It's just so bad to think about. And I know that without insurance, I probably wouldn't be able to afford medications, but with this new job, I'll have insurance and I won't have to be under my parents anymore. Um, just taking on a whole new responsibility. But anyway, I know this like whole video has been a random jumble of thoughts and me like not knowing what I'm talking about when it comes to like neurotransmitters, but um yeah, I will try to get a video by next week as well because I may not have time because like I'm going to be in Minnesota, but maybe I can record another video with me and Nick and maybe talk about like his side of what dating me has been like like someone with bipolar. And I know that in the last few years he hasn't seen like in person full on like what can happen, but this is a journey we're going to take together, and so far he has been really good with helping me from a distance. It's just that I feel like being in person is kind of like a different story when it comes to like helping me with a lot of stuff, because if like I don't want to listen or something, I can just not message back when I'm manic, or just like ignore him and he doesn't really know what's going on. But when he's like right there next to me, he knows everything that I'm doing, and will definitely be able to tell when my moods are changing, when I'm becoming manic, and it'll just be a different story, I think. And I think that if that were to happen, there would be another video to make, because it would be a new experience for him. And also, I want to include him in my videos more often, because I think it's just a really fun dynamic, and I'm less monotone. Because I feel like in a lot of these videos, I get really like a monotone voice, and it's not great. But yeah, so hopefully the next video that I upload will be with him, and then after that I'll be moving in to a new place and everything, so I don't know what everything will be, but it'll all fall into place soon. Anyway, I will see you guys next time.